I was taking a look at working on my second book, question and answers, taken from comments on my YouTube channel, and then breaking them all into categories, adding some stuff, doing my world-class sketches. And going back in history, I discovered that I have put out 468 videos. Oh my goodness, that's a lot. The first one is funny, Bow Chat with John Riggs, I think it was called. And how, like, hello, my name is John, you know, unnatural it was, but did that first one. Anyway, you can see a couple bows back here. They're doing fine. I just was waiting on the rawhide, which came, so I've got some projects. The sixth video, I believe it was the sixth video that I have on YouTube, features this bow. And you've seen it. It's going to be actually the design I'm going to put on these two bows. And I've got this one you've never seen before with that deep recurve in it. All is well. I recurved it and then strung it and saw that the recurves were off a little bit. So how I work it is I have little arrows, which you can't see, pointing this way, which means I have to turn the tip this way. All I did was I put it back in the bending form, and the bending form didn't run straight down here. It actually went off to the side because it's curved, naturally forces the tip over. Held it over an electric stove, got it really hot, let it cool, and realign the tips. That's the way it is. But anyway, getting back to this bow, sinew backed, nice paint job, natural pigments. I can't just use this for a wall hanger. It's nice, but what you notice here, hopefully you can see it, is it did a weird thing. You see how it actually separated along growth rings, and you can probably hear it crackling? I need to repair that. And so what I'm going to do, before your eyes, see, I'm going to use Gorilla Glue. This stuff is amazing because as it cures, it foams and then pushes itself into pores and cracks and crevices, and then starts curing, and it's just kind of like mycelium with fungus. It just goes, and it's an incredibly strong stuff, which would be perfect for this. So I'm going to, one of the cats is drinking out of the water. You have to have water, wetness, dampness, humidity, H2O in the joint to get this stuff to start curing. So in preparation, I have 3 cardstock strips that I made to wet and get water in that crack. Another one to spread a thin layer of glue in there for gluing. I have a couple pieces of 1/4-inch plywood to compress that down, and I've got, excuse me, Tiki, I'll just grab this one, garbage bag that I'm going to put between the bow after I apply glue and this, and then clamps. That's all we need. Now, I've used Gorilla Glue for a lot of things. When I was making dog sleds and kick sleds, I would have holes that I would drill in and put screws or what have you in it. Then I would have like a little thing to plug. What I would do is I would mix Gorilla Glue with sawdust, put it in there, put plastic over it, and then a piece of wood clamped to compress it. Because Gorilla Glue, when it's compressed, will be strong. When it foams out, it's not strong because it's just foam. And then you can just pull it off or peel it off. And so you can take that, use that to your advantage. I'm sure that it's going to foam out, but then I can just peel it off, but underneath will be strong. If I had a divot in this bow, I could just mix it with sawdust and Gorilla Glue, compress it, and it would make a super strong thing. But right now, I have to use my poor vision and this poor lighting to first, let's see, what should I do? I should prepare. I've got my clamps and my blocks in there. I don't even know for sure that I need to cut this thing into strips. I'm just going to kind of fold it up, and I'm going to put it over that, and then the plywood over that. Keep it simple. So first off, I'm going to grab my water cup from Tiki, and I'm going to get this wet. I need to get water in that joint. So let's see, I'll set that down. Hopefully you can see this. I'm going to tip this down just so I'm sure, because this is a one-shot kind of a deal. Get it so the light, that's right, Tiki's trying to force your fat little orange body into that. Get some water in there, even flex it backwards, anything to open that up. Now, will this fix the bulb? I imagine it will. It's not like a self-bow in tension. I imagine it's compression, even if it's not perfect, even if there's some gaps in there, will allow the bow to work, then I'll just retiller it. But I need to make sure I get water in there to get this stuff curing. Bend this thing backwards. Oh. I have no idea if this is going to work, but we shall give it our best try. Old college try, as it were. Taking bets. Everyone bet. Do you think this is going to work? It's worth it, trying to save this ball. I'll know tomorrow. Lift that up, get that in there. Okay, sports fans. I don't need to soak it completely. I suppose Aquaman could do this better than I. Look at that. Tackling a serious project and I still have time to joke. Let's just let that water kind of soak in there. It'd be so nice if this thing was repaired. Okay, now step 2. I'm going to take custom trim it. Why not? I've got the technology. Now, to the best of my abilities, and if I get this on the surface, outer surface, it doesn't matter. Let's just let's think good thoughts. I don't know how to do this. I'm making this stuff up as I go along. Tiki, you're like a cape. The nice thing is that if I don't get this, I'm just imagining here, if I don't get the Gorilla Glue all the way in on every surface as it's curing, it will force its way in. That's the magic of foamy stuff. So let's just make sure we get enough. So we've got the seeds of Gorilla Glue in there. Gorilla seeds. Trying to force this stuff into a little crack. But we can do it. We can do anything. Oh, this one's all mushy. Let's use another one. Who knows? Step 5.5. Like that. Put that right there. Ah! I don't need to put any cushion blocks on the plywood side. Wrong way. Look how tricky I am. I am super tricky. Alternating, of course, one up, one down, just so I have an easier time cranking them down. Let's get that right there, exactly right there. I should have marked with a pencil so I know how far in I have to go along the limb. Imagine if it doesn't go perfectly, I can always kind of spot squeeze it, put more glue in and spot squeeze it. Uh-oh. 2 more clamps. I only have 2 more clamps. Will that be enough? Fire up did that thing have a break? I don't know. Tiki and I will gonna say, oh, it's stuck to your face, you goofy cat. I'm hoping that the plywood will be flexible enough to kind of force its way into a correct position. Yeah, that'll work. And let's see, I got 1 more clamp. Hope you can see this. You can't imagine, just imagine. Kept from swearing. Sometimes you have to swear stuff into place. Make sure they're all tight. This one down a little bit. A sinew back bow is a terrible thing to waste. Cross fingers. There, only time will tell. Be better than it was before, that's for sure. Anyway, that's about it. You've seen this boat before. This had that wild paint job that had bands right here, like bright, horrible red with triangles. Then it went on to 2 diamonds. Then it went on to bands in the center. Then it went on to little triangles along the edges. And when you looked at the edge here, it was black lining with a whole bunch of white dots. You may know which boat it was, but this is it now. I sanded it, the dye and the paint off, rounded it nicely, recurved it. You can still see the traces of the dye right here, but that's alright. It's going to be rawhide backed. And recurved it. A tip. Let me grab something. Wound up. I need to repair this bending form. That piece, because it's with the grain snapped off, so I just have it clamped. I've got a bending form here. You see this hole in the center? This is important. You have to have that section clamped, because when you bend it, you might get a gink up here and it could crack on the belly right here. So the step is, put it in your bending form, clamp this down. You don't need to wrench it, just give it support. Put your clamp here, put it over your pot with the foil, steam it for 20-something minutes. Patience is the key to not ruining your tips when you're steaming them. Clamp this down. Quickly clamp this one down and put it over the steam pot. Steam it another 10 minutes. Why not? You've got time. Pull it out when it's all done. Put it over the sink. Pour your hot water over it and let it sit for at least 12 hours. Maybe more. You might think that when you're steaming it, it puts too much water in there, so you have to let it dry out. It's the opposite. Steaming actually dries out the wood, so you need to let it sit before you put stress on it to allow moisture to re-enter it. Counterintuitive. Well, that's all for bow stuff today. Hope you've gotten something out of it. I know I have. Possibly a fixed bow.